So we'll go directly into the academic committee, and I'll be led today by Dr. Jim Carr. Dr. Carr, thank you for leading us in this discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got 3 agenda items and 2 information items. And the first item is item number 12, agenda item number 12, Associate of Applied Science, Technical Certificate and Certificate of Proficiency in Cybersecurity by the University of Arkansas Community College. Mason Campbell's not speaking to that item. Mason.
Good morning, members of the board. Thank you, Dr. Carr. As you said, I have agenda item number 12, new academic program at the University of Arkansas Community College. It's an Associate of Applied Science, a Technical Certificate, and a Certificate of Proficiency in Cybersecurity. The program seeks to meet the needs of industry in the state by preparing students to work in the cybersecurity field. UA is partnering with 6 other UA system schools, including UA Little Rock, UA Pine Bluff, UA Pulaski Tech, UA Hope Texarkana, UACC Batesville, and UACC Morrilton, to offer the cybersecurity program through the CyberLearn Network, also called CyberLearn, which gives these 7 institutions the ability to share resources and curriculum. The CyberLearn program emphasizes computer security and information assurance concepts aligned with current industry standards. Students will be prepared to assess, prevent, and oversee cyber threats after completing the program. Topics such as computer programming, forensic investigation, and methods of approaching cybersecurity and networking are included. The AS degree program is 60 credit hours. 1 program coordinator and 1 faculty member will be hired, and grant funding has been acquired to cover the majority of the startup costs for the program. If the board has any questions, I believe we have a full contingent from UACC Cossatot with us today. Dr. Steve Cole, Chancellor, Dr. Ashley Aylett, Chief Academic Officer, and Sarah Chesser, Division Chair for Skilled and Technical Programs, are available if you have any questions.
Someone from Cossatot like to speak to this, please?
Okay. Hi, I'm Steve Cole, Chancellor of UA Cossatot. As any really good chancellor's been in his job at a long time, I brought 2 people from academics that can answer any academic questions you may have, but I'll be glad to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
So this is going to be a partnership with Cisco.
It is. It is. There's 7 total. I can't speak to the other individual institutions.
How long have the others had it? Yeah.
Yeah, and the lead institution on this and putting this together is UALR, and we're working with the Forge Institute, and we've been working on this for probably 2 years now, and this brings it to fruition, and we intend on starting ours as soon as possible. So, and we were very fortunate to get a grant from the Department of Commerce through the Office of Skills Development to help fund the startup and the build out of all the secure training operations centers, Stokes on every campus. We're actually using grant funding to do that. So pretty unique project.
Ms. Digger has a question.
Yes.
Is this particular program going to be taught in the classroom, all online? What's the breakdown of it? Both.
What we're doing, the beauty of CyberLearn is, we're a small 2-year college. We have the 3rd smallest budget in the state, UA Cossatot. And partnering with UALR, some of the higher level courses, we actually will, through those secure training operation centers on our campus, we'll be able to connect directly to UALR and access their instructor, and we'll share costs. Now, there are some things that we can teach on our campus, and we actually are going to utilize some college funds and a lot of Perkins funding to hire our own instructor for some of the basic courses. But we are able to leverage, we don't have to go, and hire 4 or 5 instructors. They're going to be available. So some is online, some is in the classroom.
I ask because the way this program is set up, I mean, obviously students are going to have access to technology, and a lot of students, I think we know, are using iPads and phones to do work, and especially in rural areas that can be challenging. So it's good to hear that they'll have the availability of a classroom learning opportunity. And the only other question I had was regarding internships. Do you have partners set up for that in the community already?
That's more of our academic team. Ashley Ayett, Dr. Ayett, she is our Vice Chancellor of Academics. We also have with us Miss Sarah Cheshire. Sarah is our division chair that's over our cybersecurity program. Ashley.
We actually don't have any in our local communities yet. The person in North Little Rock that we were working in Jacksonville, we're gonna run through, who is that person? What does she run? She runs a company and they contract a lot of cyber, and they're in Jacksonville. So we've talked to them in the past and they can intern pretty much from anywhere. Because with cyber, it's unique because you can kind of work from anywhere. But our area, we don't have a lot yet. So we're hoping to grow some of our students to work in our area. Most of our companies or small businesses, they have to contract out with people from other places to do theirs. And so we're really hoping to like build that more with us. And so a lot of our internships, they may not be like actually in our community. They may be further away, but they will be working together.
I just encourage you to really try to put an advisory council together of local employers, banks, hospitals, health, anybody. So that way, when you're getting these kids ready to go out into the workforce, you're keeping them in your rural community, because that's so important for areas
It's
like
very
ours.
important for us because I mean, not a lot of people like want to come to our area. It's mostly people that you're a life person there. So.
And one thing I would like to mention in that as an employer there in that area, I think this is going to be a really great opportunity for our small businesses, because they're obviously cybersecurity is becoming more and more of an issue. It's every day you hear about somebody's identity being stolen, or you hear about somebody's credit card, the credit card issues and things like that. And I think for smaller and smaller businesses, it's becoming a bigger issue. And so one of the things that they'll be able to do, in addition to providing the people to handle that problem, they'll also be able to provide training for the employers in that area for them to just realize they need it. And I think that's going to be a great thing for our area.
Right. And with the certificate programs, like someone in a small business could come and take one of those small certificate programs so that they could be more familiar with it for their business. And so they may not have to hire somebody. They'll be better, have more knowledge themselves. And I will say the labs that we're going to have, they're very nice, very interactive. And so if a student does want to do most of their work, at home or wherever, they'll have the ability, but they can come to the labs. We'll have everything there. They have big screens where you're watching all the cyber attacks as they happen in the world. UALR already has theirs live, and they're going to every campus to implement those right now, but it's amazing. It was I was just amazed at, the process and how many are happening like every second.
Question I have for you, I see that we're gonna hire a program director and a faculty member. I know you have some grant money.
Yes, sir.
10 students seems like an awfully modest number.
Correct. So what we hope to do is, we probably hire somebody part-time at first, maybe, that can kind of help us get this going. And so they may coordinate the program and teach a little bit, because we may rely heavily on some of the other schools that already have the classes going, use some of their courses to get us going. And then as we progress, we hope, it'll be one position at first. I feel like that will be adjunct part-time teaching, help developing the curriculum for our site. But yes, I see what you're saying with the two positions, but we do not plan to hire either of those right now. And we have Perkins money to put toward that salary.
Any other questions? Dr. Cash, you look at one. Sure. You have a question?
Well, I was gonna ask, when the student starts the program constantly, and they decide within a year they're going to do it, and they continue the program, go on and graduate.
Yes, sir.
60 hours, so they don't understand.
They shouldn't. No, everything should cross between all of us that are members of the
fee for tuition, is it going to be managed in each institution or will it be institution structure?
They will pay the institutions. And then, however, like if I have a student taking a class at Batesville, they will bill me a portion, Batesville will bill me a portion, but the student pays me actually.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chancellor. Vice Chancellor. Thank you. Thank you very much. Agenda item number 13, again, Mr. Campbell, the Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education, University of Arkansas at Fort Smith.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Carr. This new program at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith, proposed program Early Childhood Education is 120 credit hours and will be offered 100% online. The program will provide seamless articulation for Associate of Applied Science and Early Childhood Education students as they pursue a bachelor's degree in the field of early childhood ed. Early childhood educators are required to have a 4-year degree to serve as a lead teacher in many of Arkansas preschool classrooms. This degree will also prepare students to be leaders in their field and afford them the opportunities for increased marketability and wages. Incremental program costs will be minimal, as all of the courses in the proposed degree are currently being taught as other parts of programs. Current School of Education faculty members will also be able to cover the prescribed courses. And I would like to introduce Dr. Shadow Robinson, Provost and Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, who is here to speak to your consideration of the program and answer any questions from the board.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell, and thank you, board members, for this opportunity to represent the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. So I certainly will answer any questions that you may have about the degree program, but I just want to say a little bit about big picture, why this is important to me. I, as many people in here, have a child, and I know that my professional life depends very much on knowing that there is quality care for him when he is not with me. And so when I think of academic programs, one of my questions is, how does this serve the state of Arkansas? And we understand well as parents that our ability to be contributing members of society depends a lot on being able to leave our loved ones in the care of someone. And so being able to launch an academic program that will grow and develop the early childhood education so that there'll be increased opportunities for childhood means a lot to me. Another thing that I care a lot about is our students, knowing that our students will have almost no direct cost to them due to the support from the Teach Scholarship is one of the reasons that I think this program is a slam dunk for us and for our students, because, you know, this is an opportunity for people already working in the early childhood space to continue working so that we don't lose the limited spots we already have, while also developing the skills to take on more leadership roles and perhaps launch future child care centers. And it makes sense for my university, as was just shared, the program costs are fairly minimal, and we already have a substantial waiting list of our students and other students that have recently graduated with the associate's degree in early childhood education that wants to move into this program. So we know the enrollment's there, we know the needs there in our community, and we know we have the capacity. And so with that, I'll happily take any questions you have. I think that comes through the Arkansas Early Childhood Association, but I'm not sure the exact funding source that has. I can look that up for you. I think that's a grant program that runs through the state, but I'm not sure exactly where those dollars flow through from the Teach Scholarship program. The program originally was for associate's degrees. And so what has happened recently is that the Teach Scholarship was available for associate's degrees leading to early childhood education. And they have just, and this program launched out of this, they have started reaching out to 4-year partners to say, we would like to see you build a 4-year degree on top of that. But with the caveat, when we build our program accordingly, that associate's degree comes in lock, stock, and barrel, that it's a seamless transition in, so that the Teach Scholarship has already been out there for the associate's degrees. And I don't know the process you go through to be eligible, but the associate's degrees in early childhood education have been eligible for it. And we're not the only institution there. There's many institutions that have had that at the associate's degree. And this is one of those first efforts that the Teach Scholarship and the Arkansas Early Childhood Association are working to get that 4-year credential in place to support the needs of our early childhood education programs.
Does the institution have further programs on campus, 100% online?
We do have a few. They are still very vibrant programs. One of those things about University of Arkansas Fort Smith is, because of our unique history, we do have a large number of adult learners that continue to be our students. And so being able to serve that population is particularly important to us. And this program's an example of why, because we're taking working adults, hopefully adults that are already working in that space, and then giving them the opportunity to advance their degree while still being in the workplace. I don't know the exact number that are 100% online. I'd have to pull that up, but we do have some, and we have not seen their enrollment drop. I think during the pandemic, it was very valuable to us to have had these programs so that we have the know-how on how to offer these programs online when we've had to.
Those students that are really not prepared, probably, they need some remediation, development work, so the talent of the campus.
So I'm glad you asked. We actually partner with and I don't know the exact name of it. The company's name is BrainFuse, but it's a sort of an online tutoring platform that's available 24/7. And so you can reach out and, there's a drop box that says, you need help with this subject. Do you need like materials? There's materials that are available, or if you need one-on-one interaction with the tutor. And then we have resources on our campus that all of our students, including online students, like our writing center, if you need help with writing a paper, a research paper, here is the webpage or the email address. You can send it in and we can get back in touch with you. But that online tutoring platform is very valuable because those working adults often need that help and support outside of the normal business hours. And so that's one of the ways that our student success has been supporting those students.
Educators, those of us who are not early childhood educators, what ages or grades are we talking about?
You're usually talking birth through 5 before they start kindergarten. Well, the most of the 50 to 60 students on the waiting list are our graduates that have gone through the associate's degree version of this. And so they've gotten the associate's degree, they're out in the workforce now, or they're about to enter the workforce, but many of them want that opportunity to advance in their career, but also they want to do it while they're still able to keep that employment. But that program has grown significantly since the investments have been made by the Early Childhood Association and the TEACH program to let them, because that barrier for, and we know this about early childhood centers, right? The pay rates aren't always the best. And so the cost of education is sometimes a very significant barrier for those students. But because of the affordability of UA Fort Smith, along with the support of the TEACH scholarship, we have seen that program grow. I would say our early childhood education program over the last couple of years of our data has been one of the most rapidly growing programs on our campus.
So you brought up pay scale, and that's a huge issue. And I know we need more pre-K teachers, we need more pre-K aides, and most pre-K aides across the state barely make a living wage.
Sure.
And what is the difference in pay scale for someone who would be considered one of these lead teachers that has this 4-year degree versus, an associate's?
We have from the president of the Arkansas Early Childhood Association an estimate that they think it would be an annual increase of somewhere between $4,800 to $11,500 a year. Now, those numbers depend on do you stay within the area and certainly what part of the state you live in. If you're working currently at an early childhood center in parts of rural Arkansas and you move to Little Rock or Fayetteville, there's different pay scales there, but the estimate is 5,000 to 10,000 approximately.
Any other questions?
Do you?
Sure.
What do you, when we're talking about the students that are not prepared for college, that are taking remediation, what was your retention rate on those students?
Well, it depends, and it depends on the type of remediation we have. And I don't have the numbers right off. I can certainly pull them for you. But we're gradually moving towards what's called essentially a co-remedial model, where instead of taking, if you think of mathematics, you take an introductory, not quite college level course, which is the way it was certainly handled when I started, and then you take an additional course. Data shows again and again that the more successful model is instead start them with the college level material, but provide additional support at that same time. And so what has happened over the last few years at the university is for many of our intro level courses, we've been transitioning from the old way of doing it to the new model. And so I don't have them off the top of my head, but I could certainly get you the numbers for English and mathematics are our 2 largest areas where we've done that. And those numbers exist, but they are in slightly different places in terms of their maturation into this new model of how we support those students. But those numbers certainly exist, but we have it broken down by very fine numbers because we're trying the different models in different places and then updating our approach for each one. And so, the overall retention number would not really refer to any particular effort we're making. So we're making much more targeted analysis of each of these efforts.
We have one more question.
My last question is, I think we all know that we need more teachers yesterday,
Yes.
qualified teachers. And on this, with it being an online program, are you planning on teaching these additional hours, kind of in the traditional sense, or is this going to be more of an accelerated program? So we've got more teachers in the classroom.
It's not accelerated in that what we actually think would happen is that teachers would probably not finish the program on average in every 2 years because this is designed for the working adults. So when we know probably how many students will be in the program the first year, but if you look at our numbers that we've attempted to model our graduates, you would wonder why those numbers aren't the same. It's the awareness that, this work situation for this individual might be very different. This individual can take 2 classes a semester because they've got kids to get to soccer practice. This one can take all 4 because they're a single adult without any children, and so they can focus on their education. So we think what we will see is a wide spread of the completion rates, but it's purposefully not accelerated because a lot of accelerated programs require someone who can heavily focus just on the schoolwork. We don't want to take those teachers that are already in the early childhood space out of the workplace.
Right. Well, and I asked that because I know a lot of programs across the state actually shut down in the summer months, sadly. I'm thinking of like Head Start programs, for example, and that would give teachers an opportunity to really focus on the studies.
And there are some of those opportunities in this program, but again, since it's the early childhood space, if you've got your son or daughter in daycare, that's often a 12-month commitment as opposed to K through 12.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next item, agenda item number 14, institutional certification advisory committee report and resolutions. Mr. Atlanta Bowles. Bowles, welcome.
Good morning. In agenda item number 14, ADHE staff recommends the appointment of 3 new members to the Institutional Certification Advisory Committee. Those people we're recommending are Dr. Martin Eggensberger, Ms. Phyllis Bell, and Mr. Nick Stevens. As a reminder, the ICAC assists the ADHE staff in reviewing out-of-state and private institutions' requests to get approval from you guys, from the board. Agenda item number 14 also includes 4 institutions requesting certification or approval of 24 degree and certificate programs.
Any questions of Ms. Bowles? Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Information item number 15 and 16. Letters of notification and letters of intent. Ms. Bowles, you're still up.
Okay. The letters of notification are institutions that are requesting minor changes to degree and certificate programs. And those changes have been approved by the director. And then on agenda item number 16, those are the letters of intent. These are programs that institutions will be bringing before you for approval in future board meetings.
Questions? Anyone on that? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hear a motion to recommend approval of agenda items 12 to 14 to the full board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposition. We'll let this go to the board. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, I moved you. Good, thank you. Any opposition? Okay. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Dr.